say something awkward.
Hey, go for it.
There you go. Welcome everyone to Sysco Canada's live stream, I guess, through Facebook. We got YouTube today. Also, we're going to be broadcasting this up onto our Spotify and iTunes accounts on our podcast channels as we open up and start talking about today. So, I'm going to go get right into it because we do have quite a bit here, and we don't want to take it. We've been kind of going over the hour time frame here, but today we should be good to go within the hour of what we're going to talk about. But this is really around snapping back to business, and the best part about this one is that this is really a great conversation we're going to have about knowing your numbers. And we do have Christopher Spence, and we'll get him to do our introductions here in a second. And we apologize. Kevin Penner was busy today, so he won't be on the call, unfortunately. But we'll make sure he's there and present. We'll pretend he's here, but we'll support him. Yeah, exactly. We're excited about it. But on that, we are going to talk about knowing your numbers here in a second and snapping back to business. But it is a great time that we see a lot of businesses opening up again. I don't think the numbers that the projected of closure rate is going to be as high as that the projected. I think we're going to have a lot of restaurants getting ready to get back into it and possibly get right. We get busy again, and they've got a lot of new things that they're going to be introducing and trying within their companies. So very excited. So today, talk a little bit. We got flashy lights there. If you have questions today and people that join in the call and definitely jump on and later. We got comments. We see them. So send them our way if you have something to say or want to say hi. Please do. We love seeing the comments. And we may ask you a few questions along the way as well. So on that, we always got to disclaimer it because things change so fast in today's world now that some of this information may become obsolete. It may not. But we want to make sure that you understand that it's as best as we can provide you the information we are today. And no screenshots as well. It's hard to say that when we record the video, but it is Sysco's information, so we want to make sure it stays within Sysco and with our customers. So I'm going to pass this over to Chris, and he's going to kind of do a little intro who we are.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. As Jay said, my name is Christopher Spence. I'm the Director of Business Resources for Sysco Alberta. So we cover all of Alberta into the western part of, the eastern part of the East Kootenays in BC and upwards towards the northern part of BC and into the Northern Territories. With us today is Jay Ashton. He's been introducing us here all along here. Jay Ashton is our business resource and activation manager for Sysco Canada. Jay and I started together many years ago in the business resource.
Many moons ago.
Many years ago, developed the current business resource platform that we have today, and the STIR system that we use. But I'm going to hand it back to Jay. He's going to hand it back to me. We're going to go back and forth, but we're going to have some great dialogue today on cost controls, knowing your numbers, financials for food and beverage. So please, if you have a pen and paper, take down some notes. It's going to be a whirlwind event here with going through some of the operation numbers and tips and tricks and all that kind of good stuff. But if you have any questions, please use the chat form. If you don't want to use the chat format, please reach out to us after. You can get a hold of us, and we'll definitely get you. If you're not from the Alberta region, I can hook you up with the different regional leads that we have all across Canada from coast to coast. So with that, I will hand it back to Jay, and then he'll hand it back to me, I think, or just keep on going, Jay.
Yeah, we'll be back and forth all day.
There you go.
So on that, for everyone that's going to be joining today, this is our 5th show. So we've done 5 of these live stream shows on snapping back to business, and it is something that you can watch them on Facebook Live on our Facebook channel, on Sysco Canada's Facebook channel. We have them up on YouTube as well, so you can go there, watch them, record, take what you can out of them. Today's exciting. It's our 5th and final show that we've done over the last few weeks. But the one thing on this show today, Chris didn't allude to this, but he teaches this as well as one of the institutes out here in Alberta, cost controls and numbers. It is good to know that today we're going to keep it as basic as we can, because as Chris and myself has worked together for many years, helping consult restaurants, and always this subject always comes up about knowing your numbers, is that I've taken from Chris, and I've taken this from a lot of people that have we've worked with over the years, these restaurants, is you can get complicated as much as you want, but it really, at the end of it, it's basic math and it's basic numbers. That is really all you need to know. And people can come out with flashy programs and all this. And at the end of the day, Chris pulls out his Excel or his napkin and a pen, and he'll figure it out where you are. And really, at the end of the day, that's all you need to know. But we're going to get to it. We're going to keep as basic as we can, so we don't overcomplicate it, because one can very easily. But that's a nice thing. And today's our last show, so it is exciting in a way that we're getting through this. One thing I want to talk about briefly before we move on here is there a Sysco Advantage program. Now, I've shared this on all shows, and we're still going to keep moving forward with our Advantage program. But this is an exclusive program for Sysco customers that we have partnered with all the companies below here underneath our logo to really offer you a better deal and a better program that you may get when you're not with Sysco. And we've worked with these companies. They're amazing companies that are built there to help you with your business. So everything from marketing, and I always talk about MPP marketing. We had them on a call yesterday for a live stream session, as well as a podcast. They will do your website for free. They will help you out with restaurant marketing. They're amazing when it comes to resources. So please use them as much as you can. You can go to Foodies Unite. We put the website up there. Go there, check out the Advantage program. They'll list all the partners. You click on it. There's a podcast usually associated with them, as well as their information on who they are and more information on how to contact them and get the deal that we've set up with the Sysco Advantage program with them. So please use them. We have a new one that says Food Grads. We just signed up Food Grads this week, which is awesome when it comes to job boards and being able to provide training material and information through Food Grads. They're a wicked company as well. So very excited about our new partnership there. Look at it. There's nothing in it other than your time spent here to save some money within these areas. So anyways, we'll keep moving here forward. So on today's call, like I said, it's really important that we look at the restaurant from an overview on an area, the cost of goods, or COGS, right, Chris? And looking at your variable and your fixed cost. We know there's, like I tell you, variable and fixed cost today is going to be so critical that we are fully clear of what that looks like. It is going to be very, very important. We're going to have to look at your food sales as well. And this gets something, I'm excited to listen to Chris on this. I'll talk about this more, is really around, breaking it down into your food, your beverage, maybe even your alcohol, making sure that your sales are all lined up there. And then we get fancy and we use the word prime cost, and everyone thinks you know what you're talking about, but it's really simple. We break that out. But it is something that we need to look at all these areas and make sure that you have and know where your costs are. I think that's the biggest thing in today's call, is know where your costs are. Are you clear where it is? And you clear where your numbers are. You know where your costs are. Our margins were thin prior to COVID. They will be even more thinner as we move forward. And they're actually, in some cases, your labor may offset that and bring some extra percentage of growth.
Hey, Jay, go back to that last slide. Sorry. I just want to add to this slide. Now, I don't know if everybody's been watching every one of the 5 sessions we've been doing the last 2 weeks. We've used this graphic of the floor plan, if you will, of the operation, and we've had boxes on every different category that we've been teaching these last 2 weeks. So this is a great resource. I don't know if you want to reach out to us. We do have the full plan of this, but this has kind of been our platform for our sessions in the last 5 episodes and talking about the different parts of the operation. If you've been following along, every session we have a different block and channel to look at in the restaurant. But I want to point that out. If you haven't noticed on the last 5, this is kind of our base. But if you want to see the full plan, and we can walk you through as a base model, though.
Excellent.
Cool. Thanks.
So let's move over to the goals today for Chris. You want to just review those again here?
Absolutely. So today's goals, we're gonna talk about managing your budget. So knowing what your budget is. If you don't have a budget, you need one starting today. We're going to show you how to calculate your break-even numbers, and that's kind of a science I like to live and breathe when I'm talking about operations and knowing where your financial health is, so to speak, the litmus test of your operation. So knowing exactly where your break-even numbers, knowing all that, and we'll show you some neat tips and tricks to if you haven't tackled that before or something you want to look into. It's a great tool to know and how to use every day. Just that will dictate what you need to focus on and budget for your day. And then managing your labor costs. So this is going to be the biggest variable cost coming out of the gate here when you're reopening your restaurant, because Alberta and BC, I'm not completely familiar with the other provinces, but we are at a 50% capacity in restaurants. And I did pick up some takeout last night, and their restaurant wasn't open yet where I went, and they're waiting for a few weeks, so they don't know yet how they're going to manage that. And they've only brought back 2 of their 5 servers to help out with the takeout business. So once you do open up for full service in your tables, you need to know where your labor's at, because there's going to be a lot of unknowns, obviously, coming into this, and how busy you're going to be, where you want to market, and we talked about marketing the other day, how you want to drive your business and be able to manage that properly, because you are operating a new business now. So,
yeah, and I think that labor thing is going to be interesting as people decide on who to bring back in their restaurants and how many people do they need now for the front of the house and the back of the house. It's going to be, I do believe it's going to be adjusted along the way, and it's going to have to be very fluid.
Correct.
So let's get into this, Chris.
Let's do this. So our page here. So understanding your profits. So now's the time. And I mentioned this, I think, on the first session, was it reinventing your menu. Now's the time to redo your menu, retool it if you haven't already downsized or looked at streamlining it at any capacity, or offering a separate takeout menu from your full service menu. This is the time to do it. And we do have resources at Sysco to help you out redoing your menu. So please connect with us, with your sales rep or us, and we can steer you in the right direction to help you get your new menu. And as Jay mentioned, with the Advantage Partner, there's a few partners there that are offering free website design and redesign for customers, Sysco customers. So reach out to us and take advantage of our invaluable resources that we have, and our teams across Canada to help you out with redoing that. Analyzing item profitability. This is key, and I'm going to get into more detail. We're going to shave back some layers today and look at how we can help you analyze your item profitability, because it's not profitable. You're losing money. You don't know it. You need to know where your numbers are at. So this is what it's all about today, is that thing. Determine menu performance. So we have many tools that are tried and true that they've used over the years. Menu engineering is the biggest tool. So looking at your menu, breaking down, slicing and dicing your menu items and seeing how they perform. Are they making money? Are they not making money? Are they causing you waste? Is there shrink? Everything. And there's four components to that, and we'll go through that. But every single menu item is not going to be profitable. There's going to be some dogs that you're going to want to get rid of, but there's plow horses that are not profitable, but you sell a ton. A good example of a plow horse I always use is chicken wings. You're never going to get $18 a plate of wings in a restaurant, because that's what you need to sell them at to make a good food cost. But people love wings. People will go out and search for a good pub or restaurant that serves wings. But it's a very competitive product out there. Everybody serves wings, and it's not the most profitable item on the food menu, but it drives liquor sales. It drives volume into your restaurant. So, and then stars. Stars would be something that is your signature item that makes money. You sell a ton of. It's your unique signature item that people come in for, that you're known for. So these are items that you're going to have focused on your menu. They're going to be the spotlight of your menu, the prime real estate, as we call it. And those items are going to drive your sales profitability. But
I think, Chris, when we look at this, and for people that are going to watch us today and watching us right now, is I think determining your menu performance. You're going to have to look at this all the time. I know in the past, Chris, we've met with so many customers over the years that you would talk about the menu and they hadn't looked at it for, half the year, some cases the whole year. Today, moving after and getting into the new norm, as we call it, you're going to have to be looking at that menu performance all the time and reevaluating it. Now, I also believe that the world or the consumer right now is okay with not having the regular menu all the time, adjusting it and changing it up. And it might even be to a point good for people to adjust that menu more frequently to draw the interest to come back and get repeat people. opposed to always having the same thing over and over again. And I think that is also making sure that you're tweaking as your profitability models will change as you bring more staff back. Also, price points in your menu may adjust as well as fluctuates with the market trends of pricing. All these different things you're going to have to tweak and dial. It was always like an old stereo. You're going to have to change the treble and all these different things along the way to
Yeah,
make sure you have the right sound or the right notes coming out of your profitability of your menu performance. I think that's
exactly.
critical as we move forward.
That's a great way to put it, Jay.
Let's talk a little bit about financial, the calculator that we have, Chris. We have this up in our foodiesunite.ca site for everyone to go in there and check it out. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of financial planning when it comes to your P&L and using a P&L system. How important is that?
Yeah, well, P&L, it's profit and loss. Obviously, it's something that the accountant or the finance manager in your outfit or the owner looks at very closely, end of the month especially. P&L summary is kind of the end of the month report card, generally speaking, for most operations. So P&L summary is a very broad-based view of it. Input, obviously, input is what you have to your expenses and sales that go in there. We have a break-even calculator that Jay just talked about. This is an incredible tool that we have. It's very simple to use. It calculates all your fixed cost and variable cost and calculates that based on your restaurant, your size, and your volume, and it spits out a number that you need to come up with before the end of the month just to break even. So you can break that down into per item, per menu period, per day. It slices and dices whatever you need to do. So your peak days are going to be, let's say, a Tuesday and a Friday, and those are your 2 days out of the week that you need to capitalize on as much profitability as you can. Sunday might be a loss because it's generally speaking a day of rest for most people, and a lot of people don't go out. They spend family time at home, so it might not be a busy day for your operation. Saturday is start to finish is going to be your key day. People go out. You want to be on your A game on Saturdays. You want to be making as much money as you can, shaving off as much cost as you can on a Saturday night or a Friday night, just to make sure you keep that money in bank. And then, of course, you take care of the rest of the days that aren't as busy. So break-even calculator, you want to spread that out. You want to find out how much money you need to be making every day, every month, every month. Go back, Jay.
I was just going to say this labor simulation and this calculator here, I think is so critical, Chris, that people are looking and forecasting what their labor is going to look like, bringing more people back on, and can they afford to bring in everyone that they once had? It'll be very interesting in how they utilize this. This information, like I said, is up on our Snapback toolkit in Foodies Unite and Sysco's foodiesunite.ca site. Go up in there and look for these tools. We put them in there. They're broken down into these simulators and the calculators that you can use there. Play around with them. I think personally, it's as simple as looking at the P&L statement and understanding where your profit and loss is within your operation is going to be very critical as you move forward.
And Jay mentioned the term prime cost. So quite simply, prime cost is your two biggest variable costs, which is, are we getting into that slide there? Is that on there? Am I jumping ahead?
There you go, buddy. There you go.
Jumping ahead. So COGS, or cost of goods sold. This is the accumulated total cost of your goods. So hard costs, like your two variable cost of food and beverage. This should be just dedicated to your two cost streams that you're spending on that contribute to your sales and to your purchasing. Fixed costs, so this would be rent, utilities, taxes, insurance, all that stuff. If you've got entertainment, paying for that per month. If you're members of SOCAN and you're playing music, if you're paying SOCAN fees or all that, marketing fees, if you got newspapers dropped off, all those fixed costs that go into your restaurant, they're going to add up without reflecting any sales. Those are not sales generating. They're not coming. People are not coming in to watch your rent, utilities. They're coming in to eat and drink. And get served by great people. So your prime cost is your total of the COGS plus your labor. So that is your two costs. Food cost is generally speaking around 30 to 35%. As low as 25, no higher than 35, 40% of your total sales. Liquor, same thing, kind of rivals those cost percentages. It shouldn't be more than 25-30%. There are, great profit drivers like draft beer. Wine is a good profit, but obviously you can have happy hour and spirit sales and shooters, that kind of stuff. Those generally have a pretty high cost to it, COGS. And then those two costs together, liquor and food, equal your prime cost. Variable costs on top of prime cost items are linen, laundry, subscriptions. You might have some entertainment in there. You might have some percentages that you're like entertainment fee or marketing fees. If you're using like a third-party delivery system, they might charge you per order delivered, of course. So that will be a variable cost. So it's just a cost associated with per sale item. So those costs. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, back in the day, we used to look at our variable costs and really determine how, especially if you have multiple locations and you have managers that oversee your variable costs, we would actually look at our variable costs a lot of the times to determine how our managers are really managing our operations. Because sometimes you take your eyes off your variable costs, because like you said, fixed are fixed, right? It's pretty hard to readjust your rent all the time throughout the year. It might be in a 3-year contract or 5-year. Very hard to adjust some of that fixed cost, but your variable is where you really want to work with your managers on watching the expenses on those variables, staying in tune to your linen and your laundry fees or your costs when it comes to entertainment. To me, when you see your variable costs go out of whack on your P&L, usually it could be, it could be time to talk to your management and your manager of that location. If you see where your variable costs go off the charts, definitely time to step in and look at what your manager is doing to manage this. And this is an area too that can really be big on losing, losing costs that sometimes we don't keep our eyes on, because we hope the linen and laundry company is doing what's right, and it's not overcharging you for linen that you didn't have cleaner or had cleaner, whatever the case is, or your entertainment didn't go through the roof because the band or the musician is charging more and things like that for you. So very important that you keep your eye on your variable. Simple, it's how your business is being managed. But when we get back into looking at your prime costs and those labor costs, those to me right now are going to be an interesting area as we move out of the COVID world and into the new world of readjusting what our costs are when it comes to labor and also our food cost. It will be a very interesting path as you open it up. So what are Chris, you want to get into this pure too a little bit around still using the calculator in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it there more clicks to this one, or is this the page?
There might be one more click. There it is.
There it is. So your P&L summary calculator. So this is like I said, going back prior to the first P&L statement. This is your total accumulation of everything that you've done throughout the month. So this is a summary of first day to last day of the month and everything in between, all your costs, sales, variable and fixed costs, all your revenue streams into here, and this is where you find out the exact health of your how you did that month. So, but you shouldn't be waiting till the end of the month to figure out how you did. You need to know at the very latest every week. I truly recommend restaurants and all operations to do a daily cost analysis every day. I know most POS systems out there do have a food and beverage component in there. They do a pretty good job. They tell you exactly where you are for labor and for sales. But you need to break that down further. And I do recommend, we have two different partners that we use. Easy Chef and Optimum Control are two different software companies that we deal with that do a great job of breaking those costs down evenly, and you can use those on a daily basis for tracking your cost controls. I'm a big fan of both. They both have different attributes. For me as a chef speaking, I do like the Easy Chef because it is Excel based, and it is pretty easy to use for a chef to build and to use. Optimum Control is very detailed on the back end. There's lots of detail that goes in from the inventory buildup to all the total control overall, and that Optima Control is good because it does interface with your invoicing from us, particular from Sysco. You can download your invoicing and it instantaneously updates all your costs. And like I say, and Easy Chef is a little bit simpler to use, and hence the name Easy Chef. It's more Excel based, and it's very manual, which I enjoy using. So these two calculators here, cash flow, so the net amount of cash and cash equivalents being transferred into and out of the business. So this calculates the monies coming in and out. It also breaks down your break-even point, and this is my litmus test. Always like to use this and show customers where they need to be with the break-even. So this is where you're neither losing money or gaining money, but you need to know every day. If you take your fixed costs and you break them down daily, how much you have. Like say your rent is $3,000 and there's 30 days in a month. You're spending $100 average on day just on rent. So you need to know those numbers. Or sorry, 30,000, 3,000. Yes, 3,000 broken into 30 days is $100 per day. So that's your break even for that amount. Then add up all those costs. Break even, your fixed, your variable cost on top of that, and then you have your cross of the axes, and that's where you know where you got to be for sales. So that break-even point on the side there on the right shows you exactly where you need day by day, where you need to be as far as sales. I talked about that Monday through Sunday. Friday night, obviously the peak day. You can blow it up a little bit there. Yeah, thank you, Jay. Sunday, obviously the slowest day on this example. Wednesday kind of being the hump day. This sales might be wing night. Wednesday might be a wing night. It's high in liquor sales and high in food sales, volume, but low sales numbers because you're selling your wings for 25 cents a piece, but you're selling an enormous amount of liquor for that. If it's a sports night or it's just wing night, bringing in people for beer specials and wing night. So that's your lost leader day. You're not making a ton of gain there, but you're building loyalty with your customers and people get to know your restaurant. They might come back. Hopefully they come back on a Friday night when you have no features. And it's full pop for wings and it's full price for everything else, and you're making your best profitability right there. So
yeah, and I think, Chris, when you look at your break even and you determine when that happens, it does give you some flexibility also when you're putting items on your menu to know this time of the week. And I think the other point on here, before I get into that, is that they've indicated, and we've indicated here for you, is that this is calculated on a weekly basis, right? And I know a lot of restaurants, like so many that we've visited, when you would say, so what's your break even point within the week, where you start switching over and it's pure profit, or it's, you pass the point of you paying for most of your food and your labor and everything. And
it's just like sorry, Jay. I mean, it's just like a home budget. You have your 2-week pay period, and you have your expenses that you pay, your mortgage, you pay your utilities. It's just like that. It's scaled down to just that exact kind of budget, so you know exactly how much you can spend in those 2 weeks on groceries. There's no sales coming in. If you got 2 teenage kids, you're bleeding pretty good there. So
let's talk about labor a little bit here, Chris, because I think this is big for a lot of people.
Yeah, this simulator is going to be a great tool to use. So please go on our site and download this and start using it. Forecasting your sale. Like I was saying, the forecast part is going to probably be the trickiest part of your simulation, because we're only 4 days into our relaxation on our restrictions in Calgary alone. Alberta, it's been 2 weeks, but Calgary alone, we're only 4 days in where people could open up the restaurants to sit down service. So labor is going to start coming back. We're going to start having folks bring back their servers that were on temporary layoff or restricted hours. So this is going to be a big question, like how busy are we going to be? We're going to want to be as busy as we can, but you want to make sure you keep on top of that in forecasting, and you're going to know when you're spending too much. So this is a good tool to use just to forecast your sales and forecast your labor cost. You want to keep it in check.
Yeah, and I think this is also when you look at your back of the house too, and this will fluctuate as you kind of find that sweet spot as you open back up. You might have too many back of the house on. You might not have enough front of the house. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I think you need to understand how to balance out your labor, because this could throw you for a loop and pull a lot of that profit out, or put a whack into your break-even points as well, right?
Yeah, and one of your fixed costs might be your manager's salary. Depends how you look at it. Some might be part of your labor, might not be part of your labor, might just be part of your total fixed cost for your month. So
let's get on to this part here, and I know this is your favorite topic, is creating a budget. So let's talk a little bit about creating a budget, Chris.
Yeah, so like I said, there's a couple components and ways to tackle it. You need to know what your recipes are. So your recipes got to be sound. They got to be established well before you open up your doors. I'm talking a recipe for everything. A 2-ounce portion of ranch dressing has to have a portion, have to have a recipe. So that 2 ounces of ranch is costing you how much? How much are you selling it for? All your recipes need to have all your batch recipes, everything. Your mixes for your drinks, the garnishes for the drinks, everything. Salt and pepper on the table, condiments on the table. So if you have caddies on your table with ketchup, HP sauce, hot sauce, what have you, if that's on your tables and it's being consumed, you need to budget for that, because I know those don't come cheap or for free from suppliers, including us. We don't give away that stuff. So you need to know how much that's costing you. So if you're going through $200 worth of bottled ketchup a month, you need to figure out what the recipe is, like how many people you're going to serve, and every single person you serve has to have a cost on that for using that ketchup. So cost for everything, absolutely. So creating that budget, budgeting your recipes, budgeting your purchases, budgeting your inventory levels, making sure your inventory levels are manageable and realistic. So fresh products, obviously you want to turn those over as fast as possible, because they do start shrinking the minute you get them. Raw proteins start deteriorating as soon as they're thawed out or in your cooler, so they do have a shelf life. Making sure that you're doing your proper fridge pulls and pars and prep for the day. You're not wasting. You're not having the perfect amount of prep for the day. You're not running around redoing prep in the middle of a dinner rush. That's not the time to be doing prep, because you're going to make mistakes and you're going to waste some food because you're hastily trying to prep food as you're needing it. Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
I want to talk here a little bit about this. So when we look at budgets, and I think when we're coming out of, I wouldn't say coming out of, but we're in the COVID world right now, is that tracking and managing your budgets are going to be very critical, as a sense that there's new costs. It could be not necessarily even new, but additional costs in some areas that are very they can deplete some of your profits if you don't stay close to them. And I want to talk about that in a sense around your cleaning, because your budgets within your cleaning equipment, you may have PPE that you need to bring in now that wasn't a part of your cost before. Your cleaning equipment for your sanitation for your tables and what your bathrooms and all these additional things that you may not have been spending as much as you will be. Those are going to be a factor that you need to understand what those costs are, because the budgets are really, in a sense, are set there to know what you need to sell, right? To make some profits within what you're aligned for. So very interesting on that as well, is to make sure that you have agility and you're flexible in your budget, to know you're going to move in and out of it, and get over it sometimes and under it sometimes as you navigate into this new world. And the next slide here I want to touch on really quick, Chris, is that these numbers will evolve, right? You want to talk a little bit about this, Chris?
Yeah, so your numbers are going to evolve, as Jay said. Your numbers, you're going to have new expenses that you never incurred before, or they were just minimal expenses before. PPE and cleaning expenses are going to be up there as well. Labor, cleaning tables every time, which I'm assuming was done before, but you're going to be that much cleaner, wiping down hard surfaces like handles and doors and anything that's customer facing, or hard surfaces, tables, counters, all the stuff that was not always done, after every transaction. But that's going to have to be part of the norm now, because customers will expect to see cleaning duties as you go, and they won't want to see a server going behind the bar, making a beer, and then serving it, and then clearing another table beside it with dirty plates, and then going to the till to get a receipt or a bill for the next customer. People don't want to see multitasking servers handling everything and not having the opportunity to wash their hands, or if they're wearing PPE like gloves or masks as they should be, not having the opportunity to change them, because a disposable glove is absolutely useless if it's not changed in between service. So that's going to have to be a part of your new budget, and that's going to be, this is new for everybody. So those numbers are evolving. Decreased traffic flow in your restaurants, because not everybody's going to be jumping out of the gate here to go out and dine. They're going to wait a few weeks to make sure it's safe, because people are worried. Your customers are concerned about their safety, your safety, as you are. So they're not going to be going out to enjoy dining out as much as they were pre-COVID. So those numbers are going to be ramping up and need to be watched, because you're not going to have sales right out of the gates that you used to have. So it's going to be a gradual climb, but you need to be aware of those costs and managing your inventory as well. Getting to relearn your inventory levels and your purchasing is going to be a tricky maneuver for the next couple of weeks or months, because you're not going to be able to predict where it's going to be at. You got to just know where your budget and your forecasting sales, and then your purchases as it goes with that. So,
yeah. So before we get in here, and we're going to wrap up here fairly quick here, and today was a short one, so for everyone, it's really simple. When you look at your numbers, it's really simple. When you look at the P&L, there's really two primary areas: your food cost, your labor cost, your fixed, your variable. Gives you a percentage of what you're left with, and whatever the percentage is at the end of it is your net profit before taxes, because it always comes there and takes a chunk from you too. But it's good to keep your eye on those. And I tell you, we've seen a lot of restaurants come and go over the years prior to COVID. And we always wondered how much were they in tune to their numbers, because you can navigate and adjust your business models to whatever those numbers are. If they're too high in one area, you can reduce that. Today, with this world we're in, and when you have the ability to run smaller menus, smaller inventory, be able to adjust that menu more frequently, be able to adjust your inventory very quickly in a very forgiving consumer environment, it's a time to look at these things. It's time to say, you know what? I have the big 200 menu item. I'm opening 50%. I'm going to bring that menu down to 50 items instead of 200 items, because all these things add up to speed of how long you want your diners in there. And you're also going to want to rotate your tables differently as you move forward, because you're 50% open. How long do you want your patrons to sit in your restaurant? Those will pull factors into your numbers as well. There's so many moving, things within the business that affect your numbers. So knowing where they are, knowing they're going to evolve as different provinces open up at different percentages, consumer confidence comes back in different areas. Consumer confidence may come back stronger in the prairies before it does in Ontario. We don't really know what that's going to look like. It's also based on what how our operations are providing the consumer confidence, and how they're convincing consumers it's okay to come out and dine, and that you're providing them with safe practices within your restaurant. So very interesting on this. It's really that simple. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a big system. You don't need a fancy Excel document or anything. Just bring out an Excel, like Chris said, or paper. Look what it is. Stay close to it. I know the restaurants we ran P&L. We analyzed everything after every day. We ran it through our POS system. We printed it out. We looked at it. We could see where our costs were going and what wasn't working, what was working, and we could adjust. You wait every month to do your review of your numbers. You could be having theft, and you don't know of it until it's too late. Or you may be selling items, and your servers are selling a lot of products that isn't generating the profit you need to be doing. This was a flaw in a lot of restaurants prior to COVID. We really need to make sure our customers and our industry is staying close to your numbers. And I think they will, Chris, now that they've had some time to maybe reflect on what those are. But some people may haven't, because they've been busy with takeout for the first time, especially takeout. And that's another thing I want to mention to everyone is you need to know your cost on your takeout, because there are some variable numbers in there that you may argue one is fixed or not, or it's variable. But you need to know your numbers when it comes to takeout, because there's some big numbers in there that will pull a lot of that profit away if it's incorrectly done wrong. Your takeout model for your business needs to be really scrutinized within your numbers. We'll leave it there on that comment. But anyways, I want to talk about a few things here. So go to SyscoFoodiesUnite.ca, go to the Snapback Toolkit. Here's an example of what it looks like from our website. We've got everything in there, from safety checklist. Oh man, there's so many checklists in there. It's awesome. We got PPE product lists of different things that you can buy from Sysco. We've got different things in there when you want to look at what the new guest experience is going to look like, because we have to still provide experiences to our customers. And that's going to shift and change a little bit as we move forward. Also, there's stuff in there regarding your business planning now. Marketing is big in there because it is a new norm that we need to market into. So how do you do that from a social aspect using social media? How do you do that from the old days to today? I would say the old days to 3 months ago, I'd say, to today. How do you market to consumers now than you did in the past? We also have like I said, the Advantage program we talked earlier about. It's in there too. You can go through everything that they're offering. It is big, big, big for you to understand. We're here for you. We've got the resources here for you. Please use them. That's what we have. And if you miss anything out there, reach out to someone, Chris and myself, or please reach out to your reps to find out if there's more information on something we may not have there for you. Another part that we're very proud of and very excited about for sharing for our customers, this is something that we offer our customers, is Sysco's marketing and menu services. Simple. Email or call that number and they'll hook you up with doing a menu for you. They'll hook you up with helping you with your marketing, of snapping back into business. They will help you in all those areas. They have an enormous, amazing team that can help you. So when you go out, you don't have to write open for business on a piece of paper and put it up in your window. You can get it so it looks very professional. Why is that important? We want to build confidence back into the consumers, and looking a little professional within some of those means is important in building that confidence back. Because if you just wrote "we're open" on a piece of paper and it doesn't look very professional, how's the confidence in the consumer going to be on what you're doing in the back of the house or your kitchen? We don't know. Or your cleaning procedures, we don't know. Right? So Sysco marketing menu services are here for you. Please use them. They're just amazing. I can't say enough good things about what that program is. Great things for you. So just a recap over the webinar series that we've done here. We've done menu and inventory. I don't know, Chris, you remember that quite a while ago. Operations and staffing. Menu and inventory. This is recorded. I want to tell everyone about this. It's recorded on Sysco's Facebook page. We have it up on YouTube. Watch it. Maeve Webster, she's a writer of Menu Matters out of Vermont. She's wrote about post food trends. Remember, Chris? Remember when we had Maeve on? How Absolutely. Good it was? The information was just top notch. Go read it because she's touched psychology to what the food trends are going to be after post COVID. So look at it. It's in our menu and inventory webinar that we did. Operations and staffings. This is when we had Optimum Control join us. Travis from there. And then marketing and social media. We had Kevin Penner join us for that one. Outstanding when it comes to really what we want to look at in the simplicity of Instagram and Facebook and how do you use that moving forward. Very important to know that. And then today, talking about knowing your numbers. So on that, Chris, we're going to wrap up here before we finish with the last slide. But I guess the thing is, and we've done 53 podcast shows. We have done, I don't know how many of these shows on top of the 5-part series. And what we've noticed here is the strength as coming together within using Sysco, using your community, using your customers all together literally is driving us out of this industry, out of this mess, and getting us all in the same playing field and all getting back to what we feel is the new normal. But we are sure learning a lot from who we are, who our businesses are, who are we to help customers out with what they're looking for when it comes to food and for food ideas. The innovation has been through the roof. We've been in this industry 30 plus years, Chris and myself. I have never seen more innovation in these times than I have over 30 years. In these 3 months or 2.5 months, let's say, we've seen more innovative ideas come out of our industry in that short period of time than over 30 years. We'd get excited about one trend, Chris, in the past. Pulled pork sandwiches or those kind of things. These came out in 2000, revisited us in 2008. We got excited about that, and that was the greatest thing ever. But then we've seen what we've seen now over the last 10 weeks. It's been outstanding, and I think it's truly bringing together other people to come up with ideas. Most of the ideas you see today in the industry wasn't one person's idea. They were a combination of people coming together. If it was their staff, it was their employees, it was their cooks, it was their chefs, everyone coming together to bring those ideas to the forefront. It's been outstanding. So when you hear that, we will come together and get through this together, it is truly, truly true for what that statement is. So on that, we're going to dance out of this part 5 series, Chris. So hopefully today it's really simple.
I want to see me dance, though. I'm good. We'll watch the guy in the screen.
That was Chris dancing earlier today. But on that, please use Sysco as much as you can to get through this, to get back and snap back into business. We're here to help you. That's what we do. That's what we do every day. We're looking for different ways to help our customers out and get back into business. It's so important that we help you through this. We're here for you. Even if you want to talk about stuff, we're here for you as well. That's what we love about our customers. They sometimes just want to talk to us about an idea or two. So we're here for you. Chris, thanks again for joining us through these 5-part series. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
So on that, please look at all these videos. We got them up on Facebook channel in Sysco Canada. We've got some of this put into our podcast channels on Spotify as well as iTunes. And then look for it on YouTube too. We're up there as well. So on that, everyone else, thanks again for watching our show today as well. Stay safe. We'll see you soon. We can't wait till we're all back. So thanks again. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.